Hey guys, and welcome back to ADHD TV. This is Red Dead Redemption 2. This is actually indie game kind of thing. This is one of the games that I've got almost 100% back on. Red Dead's one of those games that I've actually beaten a couple times. 8, I believe, to be exact. It's just one of those games that you can come back to over and over and over again. Some people do not like the after credits, after game. Some people don't like the after the main game. But I like all of it. I think it was a good put together game. It's a good to have to just kind of hang out and ramble and do things, and it's kind of what I'm going to be doing today is maybe some hunting, maybe some fishing. Another pick roll. I don't really care about the pick roll. But yeah, I took a day off for Father's Day. The kids all did a lot of things, so I was kind of busy all day yesterday and kind of been doing stuff today. Just finally got a chance to sit down and start doing a little bit. And figured I would jump on Red Dead and run about and see what was going on. And see, I'm very good in this. I've got almost a full honor meter because I throw back a lot of fish and I say hi to everybody. I only try to off those that are in need of offing, I suppose. The ones the game won't ding me on. Never know. Sometimes it glitches up. You can get an extra one there. Today is not that day.
Right here, fella. Howdy, mister. Come on.
I don't know what that was. Yeah, I had a discussion at one point in time of if you had to live somewhere on the Red Dead map, like just as a regular person from the game, in the game or whatever, where would you live? And I think my go-to on that is not a lot of people's other places, but this general area around Emerald Ranch pretty much is where I would be if I had to live within the Red Dead game itself. Mostly because there's not a lot of large, dangerous animals. The hunting and fishing there is pretty plenty, so you don't have to do a lot. You don't have to do a lot in the ways of like trying to figure out some kind of thing or I will say I do enjoy the sound design. I grew up in the South, in Tennessee, in a very small southern town. So the random noises you hear are pretty similar. They're pretty well give you that same kind of feel that you get. I will say that where I grew up at on map, if I had to put it geographically for like translated from American to that, like just the terrain and the way everything looks, Beaver Hollow, Butcher's Creek, that kind of area. I lived where there's a bunch of hollers and there's a bunch of hills. And that's kind of, you got to live with that. But yeah, this one I am trying to get through up to 100%. It says I've got 97% total completion, so I've got one more grave that I haven't managed to get to. I have not done the hunting request. I'm still working on dream catchers. Challenges. I don't know what else I can do on it. I think I've got something on that I haven't done. Yeah, pretty much about everything else. Challenges, Deadeye, dream catchers, hunting request, and graves. Been to a lot of graves. I don't. Although I have managed to not make it to Miss Grimshaw's grave. Bucks. I've literally been attacked by bucks more often than any other animal in the game, and I spend a lot of time stomping about in the swamps. And I always have two horses. I like having two horses. You can do more with two horses. Mostly just the hunting part. But it's nice, when you go out, and it's not just you by yourself. I do that sometimes as well. I'll just leave the horses back at the farm and walk to Annisburg. I am planning on trying that eventually too, putting a marker down and walking from the one side of the map as far south as I can go to as far north as I can go, seeing how long exactly that takes me, and then giving it a shot on the Grand Theft Auto 5 map, because I don't know. You get conflicting things. Some people, everything in me says that the Red Dead map is larger. But if I was traveling in a sports car, would it still feel, like if I was doing 95 right now, would it still feel as far and as big? Maybe not. And that's why I think I'm going to try to do the walk on both of them, because I've done that before on GTA 5, just to kind of get a feel for the map, walk from the most northern part of the map to the most southern part of the map as I can. Technically I've walked on Red Dead from Annisburg to Guarma, but sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get places. You can potentially kind of get out of the map on GTA 5, but you go too far out and you will sink and die. You instantly hit a Marston. set up camp for the night. I think that's one of the nice things that Red Dead does for you, that not every game will give you. You might have a hunting simulator where the animals are pretty close to how they act, or you may have like some kind of camping simulator, or 15 other different type of simulator games that Red Dead just kind of throws in for you. May also at one point in time do a Sims game. I have Sims on here as well. Sims is one of those games where it's kind of fun for about a couple hours. Maybe you might be able to squeeze like a day's worth of play out of it off and on, but kind of at the end of the situation, at the end of the day, it's like either you don't use cheats and it's a slog, or you use cheats and then everything's just too easy. At least the horses are doing good. If you're ever looking for owls, hunt at night and shoot anything that flies. Almost anything you see in the sky at night is an owl or a ghost. So just don't be afraid to shoot it. It's one of those things you really need to do, is make sure you got all of your supplies, as much as you can. I like to have a full set of meats. I can only cook one of these. We'll say one of the hardest things to do on the game on any kind of regular basis is to make sure that John or Arthur eats any kind of regular interval, because I am real bad about I'll do some cover scent lotion. I do a lot of hunting. Some folks way over there in the distance. We'll set up tent. Sleep till morning, unless John's just depressed and I need to make him sleep till evening. Alright, horsey's still there. Alrighty. That hat, man, that hat. That took so much more effort than it should have been. Right. And I would say this is one thing that I like about GTA, or like about Red Dead, that you don't get in GTA, is that auto drive feature. Like, you can just kind of let it go for a second and just kind of enjoy this. You need to pay attention though. Like, I've made the mistake of being like, I'm gonna let it auto horse and run and go grab the door or go get something, or Like, I'm gonna grab something to drink, and then as soon as I walk around the corner, I hear wolves, and I'm like, oh no. Or worse, I hear a panther or mountain lion, because that's never a great thing. I always like Red Dead. I like I guess I like the time period. My great-grandfather was actually born in 1900. So, again, in a very small town in Tennessee. So I grew up with him telling me stories about back when you had to hitch the horse up to go to church on Sundays because, you know, it was the only way to get around, or it would have been raining. So the whole path was just covered in mud. So we had to go off road and almost had to, like, it just, in stuff that I can't exactly relate to. Like, again, I did grow up in a small Appalachian type town in Tennessee. Not a whole lot of money.
Okay, sure.
There you go, bro.
Hey, friend. Hey, partner. No one can stop us, eh?
So yeah, I was very used to the hunting and fishing part of life. Yeah, it was my grandfather. We lived with my grandparents for a little while when I was younger, and they didn't have a heater. We had a wood burning heater that had it's like a heat fan on it. When it gets hot, it just starts spinning, so it blows the warm air around. It worked pretty well. If you were close to it, it was almost too hot. During the summer, it was a little more difficult. We just had, you know, windows that we opened and hope for the best. Try to stay in the shade the best we could. Would be interesting to be able to have a game where you could run a trot line. Trot line, very simply, is just usually a length of rope. That's how we did it, was a length of rope tied between two certain areas of a creek, sometimes stretching across the creek, usually down the side of the bank, because we were usually going for catfish. They're the easiest ones to do with this. And you take something, my grandfather had a chicken farm, so we would use chicken livers. And we would take chicken livers and put it on a hook, and you take the hook on a string and connect it to the line. And we would use jugs, usually like milk jugs, but any kind of plastic jug works great. And you just tie the line through that, connect it to your rope, put it out in the water. The fish will come up, take the bait, try to run off with it, and set its own hook. And you come collect the fish, the food. It was a good way to make sure you had something to eat. another deer. Yeah, where I grew up, there was I mean, if you've ever been in Tennessee, in the kind of middle eastern part of Tennessee, you'll know that there are rivers and streams and creeks everywhere. So I've spent my life mostly in those kind of waterways. Spent a lot of time out in the woods. It's been a long time since I've been camping or anything, but I've done it. Last time I went, it was a small camping trip with the kids, and we were literally in my backyard at the time in a tent. The kids didn't really want to be out there like roughing it, so we ended up bringing out extension cords and listening to music and watching YouTube and stuff on our phones, and it wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't like camping. I always had plans when I was older to move up to in Tennessee. That's where Dolly Parton is from, right on the outskirts of Pigeon Forge, and didn't really work out that way. I ended up moving to Mountains Mott there. And now we're discussing a new moving adventure. Looking into Port Elizabeth in South Africa. I'm liking it a lot. Started looking into how to do the visas, how to do the transport, how to get everybody over there, all that good fun stuff. And began also, I like it when it's raining, but it definitely makes me feel like I could sleep. But it found out that if you want to become a citizen of South Africa, they hold dual citizenships there, so you don't necessarily have to, give up being a citizen of any other where. But in order to be a citizen, there's a few things you have to do. You have to pass a test. One of them is you have to understand one of their official languages, and English is an official language. So I do know that. But I've also started working on learning Zulu through what is that? Duolingo, which it works pretty well. I believe it seems to be pretty good. Sawubona is hello. So, one of the first ones they teach you, and it goes through and you do some reviews, and I'm definitely starting to understand, recognize words and understand what the meanings are, and some of it's kind of easy. The yogurt, chocolate, like yogurt and chocolate, like that one was pretty simple for me. I was like, oh yeah, great, and then they went like ndokwe, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is at all. That's porridge. So that I was like, oh, okay, I don't really eat porridge. I also don't eat like oatmeal. I just don't like mushy foods. So that's just not not something that I'm into. But I've been doing it. I've been keeping. I've got like a so many day in a row streak thing going on because I do it at least a little bit every day, a couple of minutes every day. Try to get in there because I'm really interested in this move. I've lived in a bunch of different states. Morning. But I haven't lived in any other countries. The only other country I've even visited was Canada, and that was cool. It felt like America but cleaner. Like it just it was Windsor. I was living in Detroit at the time and just crossed the bridge over, so it wasn't like
What's going on? God damn it!
just look. You had your small horse all up in my way. Just get him back on a little trot. I think John may be drunk horsing. Now, on occasion, if you didn't know, if you get them going at the right speed, and I've only been able to do it when they're kind of drunk, but at the right speed and just going, they will sometimes sink. I had Arthur do it first, and I got John to do it later. It's not one of those things where it triggers every time. You know, it's like visiting the old campsites. Sometimes you'll hear noises. Sometimes you won't. But yeah, we've been doing research and watching some videos and looking into the whole idea about moving to Port Elizabeth. I think it would just be kind of nice to get a new start in a new place. I know the visa process takes months and months to process, so got a little time to get ready for it. I'm hoping by then that I'll kind of have some stuff going on more online and be able to do more stuff and be able to by then have all the cameras and stuff that I'm wanting to get, the way I can show the actual journey and how it's all working and the move from Colorado, America to Port Elizabeth, South Africa, and everything in between, and show everybody how it is for someone who came from super duper poor beginnings to different country. I feel like we're just going too quick. Yeah, we're just. I think that's Seamus's cousin by marriage's house over there.
Hey, easy.
I don't know why he's having such a hard time trotting today. I can't even brush him. Now I can. There's an elk. This is another part of the map that I really like. If it weren't for the fact that it is a common spawn area for mountain lions, I would enjoy it a lot more. Down the way a bit is spawn for bears, so it's a good place to get big game meat for sure. I will say the only thing that I have Well, two issues that I have with Duolingo is the weird kind of almost emotional manipulation that the little bird tries to pull on you. Like, if you normally do it early in the day, by about noon, the bird looks angry. And it's like, it's getting late. Like, it's noon, bro. Relax. I'll get there. I get there every day. I do it every day. Calm down. Later in the day, he's like depressed, crying, laying on the couch, laying in his floor. Sometimes he's got two heads. I don't know what that's about at all. Like, it's random crap that happens. The other issue I have is that it keeps trying to get me to do the premium family plan thing. And I don't have enough people in the family that want to do it. Like, we're a family of 6 with a dog, and I don't. You can do up to 5 family members, sure, but I got none that are really wanting to try. You know, it's like, cool, if you want to, here it is, you can do it, but you know, whatever, I guess. But because I don't have it, it gives me multiple ads, and some of them aren't even like, here's an ad for it's just literally a, you should buy the Duolingo family plan. You know, guys, it'll be great if you'll buy that Duolingo family plan. Have you heard of it? And it's like, yes, my God, leave me alone. Why are you doing this to me? I like over here near Amish's. Now, I suppose we can call this a spoiler alert. Real quick, discussing the last ride. I'm still kind of convinced Buell needs to be the horse that goes down. A lot of people do not like that idea, and I get it. But, like, it is an old horse. He has to have been. The way Amish talks, it's an old horse. The horse has seen some stuff. Hamish kind of keeps saying things. And it's like, he's lived a long life. He's done a lot of stuff. This horse is accustomed to a way of life that is dying out, like Arthur spoke of. A world that's no longer the world we knew. And I feel like Buell deserves to go down fighting, and it's not an exceptional horse if you do keep it anyway. It's okay. One of the reasons I ended up riding out with him is because you cannot keep it. There's nothing you can do. If you do those missions with Arthur, you get that horse, and if you get that horse, even if you stable it, it is not there when you get back. So, lets me know that horse would have just not made it for as long as the in-betweens. But I had, I think it was like the Fellview Shanty up there east of the loft. I had got off a Buell right after getting him. Interesting music just kick up all of a sudden. But I'd got off a Buell And Arthur looks right at him and goes, "What are you looking at? Stupid horse." And I was like, why are you interacting? Something is... Well, there goes a bird. Looks like we're close to Murphy Brood country. My horse seems uncomfortable by some situation.
You're strong, my friend.
I'm gonna give him a carrot. Nom nom nom. You keep hearing weird noises. Like, I think would be an interesting game. That kind of sounded like a bear. That might have been a black bear, though. That was pretty little sounding. But could be a moose, too. Nope, it's a black bear. I see him. Hope the horse don't freak out over the little black bear. Uh-huh. Yeah, you
Relax.
calm yourself. But, you know, Rockstar, they've showed throughout their games that they have the ability to do some very good games, some very detailed games, some very amazing work. I wish that they would do some kind of, I don't know, 1800 supernatural type game where you're just wandering, hey, a fox, you're just wandering through the world trying to figure stuff out, dealing with, that's not great. I don't have what I need. Alright, well. I didn't even see him. I was looking at the fox. But I knew the horse was acting agitated. Oh, and look, the Arabians that are scared of everything has been the only horse that didn't run off. But yeah, this is my horse, 6 wolves.
My boy.
Got 6 wolves up in the mountains, as you do. And immediately I found the horse and started trying to tame it. While I'm in the middle of taming the horse, 3 wolves show up. I kill the wolves. I chase the horse down.
I like being strange.
Because people are strange when you're a stranger.
That's my boy.
But so, 3 wolves attacked us immediately, killed them, jumped on my other horse, because I always have 2 horses, chased after the Arabian, got back to the Arabian, got back on her, got her tamed, started going down to where the other wolves were. While I'm there skinning them, 3 other wolves show up. My other horse bolts, and 6 wolves does not. Stands right next to me while I kill these 3 other wolves. So in total, 6 wolves. So I was like, yep, this is it. I'm keeping this one. I do regularly hunt off the back of 6 wolves. Right now, the one I am on, I think I'm bonded all the way with him, but I know it was just a Shire horse that I found. I actually found this one at Emerald Ranch. So if you start shooting, the 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 stagecoach guy just kind of leaves quickly while screaming, and when he left quickly while screaming, I was like, I love the Shire horse. I don't care if they're super duper cheap in the game. I think Risa, why are you always trying to murder your brother? Why? Why are you like this? It's the only other issue I have.
You know I love you.
I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just some kind of thing that happens because you have two horses. But it seems as if Six Wolves is constantly annoyed if I'm not riding her. She will actively get in my way and cause problems if I'm not riding her. I've died once or twice because of some crap she's pulled. But she's been a good horse, so I've kept her. Other than the attempted murders. Like I said, very good for hunting. I routinely hunt alligator from her back. I've hunted wolves, snakes, bears. The only thing that I can't really, I've shot one while on her back, but she bolted immediately. But it was the a panther. I was just coming east of Crawdad Willie's, and you know, the wow thing happened, and I grabbed my poison bow and popped it in the face, and it immediately fell dead. But the horse bucked, I fell off, and she took off. And everything else, I can get her to hang out there. Like I can stay on top of her and just pop a bunch of different animals, but for some reason, giant cat, you know, I don't know. Gray fox barked at me. Yeah, when we talked to the kids about it, and almost all of the kids are pretty much on board with the idea. One of them is a little iffy, but for some of the same reasons that I was iffy when we first started discussing it. And it was mostly just the apartheid, the history and stuff like that, and the bad things that had happened. And I'm like, I don't want to go from one place that's had some kind of systematic issues to another one. But thank God for Reddit. Reddit will let you get in touch with anybody and everybody. It's a cesspool of awful people, and then some really good ones with amazing information. If you want a real answer to a question, Reddit is where you're going to find it. If you want to be lied to about an answer, Reddit is also where you will find it. So you have to use a little bit of discernment and people reading skills with these kind of things. Like, do not just ask a question and expect because someone on Reddit said it that it's going to be how it is. Kind of read through. Don't just ask a question either. Go through. Search the question you're thinking of. Somebody else maybe have already answered it. You may be able to go through and see people also being jerks to the people, and you can be like, oh, so that's not true at all because they're being mean right now. And some people aren't trying to be mean, they just don't know any better. It was like when I moved to Detroit, I knew people in the small town I grew up in that were like, oh, well, you're just going to die immediately. You're going to step off the airplane and they're just going to be like, welcome to Detroit, and just end you right there, just unalive you in the parking lot. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. I mean, it's a possibility, I suppose, but you know, if they just did that to everybody, I feel like there would be a problem, you know, keeping the place populated.
Come on.
Rabbits. Another buck. If I get attacked enough times by bucks, I just start killing them on principle. When I see one, I'll put them down, but I haven't had that many issues out of them for a little bit. The last time I got annoyed with them, I was playing bear tag northwest of here, kind of north of Strawberry. It's a little dot on the map. There's a grizzly bear picture and a dot on the map. It's just like an enclosed area, kinda. Like maybe people built a house there and bears tormented them till they leave. But you can go there and hop over fences and play bear tag, and I was there and I saw a bear kind of far off, and I'm squatted down just watching him with binoculars, and then all of a sudden I just get blasted by a buck out of nowhere, and he knocked me out from the bushes, and when he did, the bear saw me and was just like, ah, and ran at me, and yeah, I was like, ah. I was just trying to do some animal watching. But the deer doesn't like peeping Johns, so didn't work out well for me. Oh, heard a doggy. Oh, there's a doggy. Bye, doggy. But yeah, planning on a lot of new stuff eventually. The plan isn't hopefully to just only do video games and discuss things and all of that. I'm hoping to be able to go through and react to content and give my opinions on things that I've watched and different videos and things that I've seen online. I'm hoping to be able to do a lot more than I am right now. It helps when people like and subscribe videos, check me out on all the stuff, give me hints, tips, suggestions about things you want to see, games that you think I should play, places I should go in games that I have played. I like to imagine the music is just the way what's playing in John's head while you're driving. That's why it's all based on location, what kind of music it is, because that's whatever mood you're in while you're going. But yeah, I had pretty purposefully avoided Red Dead games when they first come out. Like I said, I was a big GTA fan. So when Red Dead came out, I was like, it's GTA with horses. I would rather have a car. And part of me wishes I had played Red Dead Redemption 1 when it came out. But I didn't. I didn't even know the story when I got Red Dead 2. Which is absolutely kind of crazy, I guess, but it is how it is. It kind of helped, I imagine. Still more spoilers in this. Like, there are certain missions where things happen and they're like, John this, or John's in the penitentiary when John goes to federal. And you're like, well, that's it. John's gone forever. If I had played the first game, I believe that would have taken away some of the suspense in those parts. You know, there's certain people that are going to make it through the game. Like, it may have made it more obvious which ones weren't, because, you know, the first one, you don't hear about Hosea or Lenny. You don't hear about the Calendar Boys or Micah, or like you don't hear about any of these people in the first one. But the ones that you do hear about, that gives you a pretty obvious, like, well, they're going to make it through it. They're going to. So then you would just have this kind of like, well, these are the characters that have the most risk of being taken out or taken down or something bad happening to them, or, you know. So going into it absolutely blind allowed me to really get the full spectrum feelings of the game. Because, you know, at the very end where John gets shot on that last mission and they ride back up and they're like, he didn't make it. There's an emotional weight to it, which is, it's a different emotional weight than like the second time you play the game, when you know he made it and you know that they just left him. So then you get that, like, you don't feel it as Arthur felt it after that first game. The first game, it's all new. You're feeling it that way. You're having that emotional connection to it the way that the character would. That's kind of how I feel about the first level culture. It's slow. You're trapped. You can't do much. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You don't really know how things work. You don't know where you are. That's culture. That's how you feel in the first chapter of the game. And then you get to chapter 2, where everything feels more open and more free, and you feel more free as a character. Arthur has that ability to feel like he can travel, to roam, to do more than roads. And you're in a place that you don't know, but it's more exploring, and you don't really know these things. And that's when you first get the kind of the first glimpses of supernatural stuff. If you're really exploring in these areas, that's where you have the woman out in the Blue Water Marsh, and you have the night folk and all of that weird stuff, and a certain strange man's cabin that's in that area over there. And then, you know, by the time you get to like Guarma, again, it's one of those, it's brand new, don't know where we're going, we're trapped, we can't move, we can't get out of the way, we can't do anything other than this little bit here. It's very stifling. It's very like it's very smothering feeling, I suppose. And Guarma itself, the chapter feels like that. That's how you're supposed to feel. So by the time you hit like 6 and Shady Bell back and all of those things that have occurred, it becomes this downhill roll. And you kind of feel that in the last in the 6th chapter in Beaver Hollow. Once you get to there, it's this, everything is falling apart, everything is difficult. Things are more difficult now. You know, every time you go to run, you cough and spit and cough up a lung. It's designed for the chapters themselves to give you the emotional feel like what the character is going through. Unless you're just some psychopath that spends every game blasting everyone away. If you're like a dead bottom of the line bad honor guy and just, you know, you saved Jimmy Brooks but you shot him when he ran off, like, you know, if you just do awful things the whole time, you don't get the full feeling of the game. You can do that. In some games, it's a lot more fun to do that. In Grand Theft Auto 5, it has Trevor. Trevor is great for doing awful things because I don't feel like I'm ruining his life. I feel like me as Trevor, I'm more, I cause less problems when I'm in the driver's seat of Trevor than when Trevor is. So, in these, you know, like, Arthur has grown up with this idealistic Robin Hood point of, I'm that kind of outlaw, I'm a bad guy, but we ain't them kind of thing. And John the same way, you know, and he's trying to live up to this vision that Abigail has of life. And he's trying to live up to the idea that he could make life better for Jack. And I mean, I guess Michael DeSanta wants his kids to have a good life too, but not in the same emotional vein as John Marston, you know. But that's going to be about it for me right now. I'll get back on later. Don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. If I'm going to be doing more Red Dead, if I'm going to be doing potentially Minecraft, may even get back on Fortnite for a minute. I'm unsure at the moment. There are a couple other little games that I might do here and there, but we will get there when we get there and see what we do. But thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down and maybe a comment about what you didn't like. Comment about what you did like too, or if you have any suggestions, any games you want me to play, anything you want me to do on here specific or on any game that I've posted. Always welcome constructive criticism. Hopefully everyone is having a great day today. And I am ADHD TV, and I